I'm here today with Fiona, Executive Vice President of Strategy and Marketing at GSI Commerce. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
So, a couple weeks outside of the holiday shopping season, I'm curious to see what your perspective is on what some of the consumer behaviors were for the last quarter in the industry.
Well, I think this was a really different year from compared to prior years. I'd say we were all suffering a little from recession malaise, where we felt like we couldn't shop. It wasn't the right thing to do. And this holiday season, I think what the industry saw, both in retail and in e-commerce, consumers came out. They came out and they shopped, and they seemed to be happy about shopping for probably the first time in several years.
Now, there was a lot of press around new additions to the marketing mix, with mobile and social. Any surprises there? Anything from your perspective that jumped out?
I think the biggest surprise was this was the year that mobile finally happened, right? We've been talking about this for a decade, the promise of mobile shopping. And this was the year that we saw it. It was a lot more convenient, a lot more devices, greater bandwidth, sites that actually worked for a change. And so this was the year I think we really saw consumers start to use mobile devices, not just to buy off a mobile device, but probably more importantly, cross-shopping and looking at prices while they're in retail stores. That's a new behavior. And so this was the year I think really mobile had an impact, and I expect it'll have an even greater impact in the years to come.
Now, Android and the iPhone have been around for some time. Why is it just the usability stuff, or is there something bigger happening? Is there a mix of different channels that's making mobile more interesting this past quarter than a year ago?
That's a great question. I mean, I do think one is just the prevalence. I mean, we've had an iPhone for a while, but how many people had iPhones? How many people had Androids? This was the season where people actually gave those gifts to others. So I think there were a whole lot more mobile devices. I also think, and this is maybe where social comes in, what we saw is that people are using their mobile devices, and not just to make phone calls. So, Facebook, I believe, is the most trafficked site through mobile devices, more so than Google. And I think that just speaks to mobile devices are everywhere. They're being used a lot, and social has definitely fueled that.
So, I got to travel, and one of my first things at the company got to travel to shop.org, and it was palpable. Everybody was talking about Facebook. It was the big thing, right?
Yeah.
If I'm a CMO, is it is this is this the time for social, or is it too early?
Well, it depends what your objective is. So I think there's clearly a lot of hype about social. I mean, I was just reading this morning about Facebook's, $1 billion raise of capital. I mean, that's a lot of money, right?
A
So
lot of money.
yeah, everyone's excited. And those were foreign citizens, by the way. So even the whole world is excited about Facebook. So I think if you are a CMO that's in the explorative stage, you have to be on Facebook. You have to test things out. You have to see what works. Now, if you're an old retail veteran and you're looking for sales, I would tell you in very early days with Facebook, there are not a whole lot of people out there who would make any claim to Facebook driving considerable volume, at least none that we can measure. So it's possible it'll become a revenue driver in the years to come. Right now, it appears to be a place where you test things.
So measurement's a great soundbite or thought for the quarter. What is, in 2011, what can we be doing better to measure traction in online marketing?
Well, I think pulling up actually, what we really should be doing is thinking about the whole marketing mix. So there's, $300 billion, I believe, that's spent in marketing in the US. It's a massive number, and of that, less than 10% is spent online. And so there's 90% that I would argue is poorly measured at best, and 10%, the online piece, it's pretty decent in terms of measurement. So I think the goals here are twofold. One is get the stuff out of the offline world that is immeasurable, move more of it online, because I think that the online channel has proven to have great accountability and great ROI. And then online, I think there's more things we can do. As one example, GSI bought a company called ClearSailing a few weeks ago, and it's got to be the most sophisticated tool that I've ever seen for measuring online impact. Not just the channel that was clicked right before purchase, but all of the behavior in the months prior that influence that customer to buy. So very sophisticated tools are coming on the market, and I think CMOs should look at those as well.
So two questions come up for the quarter in terms of GSI. One, clear sailing. How far are we away from, the last click model really being kind of over? and getting further into attribution marketing?
Oh, I think we're in diapers. I think most folks use a last click model, and I think it has over attributed certain channels, like the affiliate channel probably gets a greater share of spend as a result. And I think it has under attributed other channels like display and social, which are further up the purchase funnel and not so close to the actual moment of purchase. So I think we are all in diapers when it comes to moving out of last click to a more measured portfolio approach to understanding influences throughout the purchase cycle. But I suspect we'll move very fast. I mean, everything in the online world is in turbo mode. Nothing is slow around here. So I suspect if you ask me this question this time next year, we'll have moved into high school from diapers.
That's great. Now, in terms of another piece of news that happened in the quarter for GSI, you launched Shoprunner in mid Q4.
Yeah, October, early Q4.
Any highlights from that? I mean, it's the holiday season, big consumer offering.
No, Shoprunner is really exciting. When we launched it, I think we had under 20 sites that were part of this cooperative shipping program. Very similar to Amazon Prime in that you pay $79, you get free 2-day shipping, unlimited free 2-day shipping, and on top of that, you get free return. So it's a very compelling consumer proposition. I think we're close, somewhere between 60 and 70 sites now that are signed, most of which are live, and just a who's who of brand names that have chosen to participate, which makes for a very exciting consumer value proposition. And it's January, and so returns are actually on consumers' minds.
That's right.
So I think we will see Shoprunner continue to make great inroads into the consumer space and also making online shopping even more convenient than it has been before.
To close up with a little word association. Whatever comes to mind first.
I'll try.
Okay. Private sales.
Growing every year. I think this was a space that was 2 years ago. We'd never really heard of it in terms of unique online private sales, but it just continues to gallop ahead.
Groupon.
Groupon. One of those unbelievable stories, fastest growing site probably ever on the internet. I think they've got work to do, though. There's just so many local deals that a single human being can take in every day. So I think they've got work to do around personalization and relevance.
Tablet computing.
Love my iPad. So I would have to say, tablet computing is something that I think we'll see greater adoption. I just read something that I think Apple just released their results, and they make more money, twice as much money from iPads as they do from Macs, and this is in the course of a year. So phenomenal adoption, and I think consumers are going to want to use more and more tablet computers.
And something like 80 new tablets were introduced like 2 weeks ago at CES. So yeah, it seems like everyone's chasing that space.
Right.
So fill in the blank. 2011, holiday 2011 will be the year of the blank.
Well, it'll be the year of even greater adoption of consumers with buying online. I mean, it's amazing how convenient it has become. One of the things that used to happen is nobody really wanted to buy online after about mid-December. You just didn't trust the product would come. Now, this year, we saw online shopping stay strong all the way up until December 23rd. And so there's a faith that online shopping works. Consumers like it. It's easy, and I think it's getting more entertaining with sites like Rulala. So I'm very, very optimistic that the trend that we've seen for the last few years will continue, and more consumers will use online as their default shopping channel than ever before.
Well, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.